This is the most essential garden layout. It will provide shade, letting you work in the garden more comfortably and in cooler conditions. It will allow you to keep your vegetables cooler and thus improve your vegetable crops. Most importantly, it will let you grow climbing plants. It also lets you grow grapes or other climbing fruits above your crops without interfering with them. And I'll explain how it works. This video is the first in a series about pergolas. And in this first episode, we'll cover the basics, specifically how to build this model. You can adapt it to whatever you want to do at home. You'll see it's simple, inexpensive since it's homemade, quick to make, and solid and durable. And in a future episode, we'll focus more on the cultivation side. We'll see how to set things up and how to manage your crops. But what can you grow there? Underneath and on top, and you'll see that you can really grow a lot of different crops there. And most importantly, without those crops interfering with each other. All right, Kingdom of Pergolas, here we go. All right, and just so you know, everything we're going to cover here about pergolas, you can find in much more detail in my latest book, The Forest Garden in Practice, where I explain a whole bunch of things. About lots of different types of pergolas, and especially about all the different types of crops you can grow. All right, and now let's get to work. Let's begin with the general information. And that means like the price it will cost to build this type of pergola, the time it might take, and the tools and materials needed. Remember, you can adjust all the info and measurements I provide to fit your needs at home. This pergola measures 8 meters long by 1.5 meters wide and lets you grow plants underneath. Two boards that would be 8 meters or even 10 meters long and 80 centimeters wide. In my case, the growing beds are slightly shorter than the pergola, which sits right in front of the greenhouse. So I wanted to keep a middle path. And as for the time needed for construction, I started the timer at the beginning, and it took me exactly 2.5 hours to do it. Just so you know, I took my time on some parts and did a couple of other things on the side, but yeah, 2.5 hours, I think it's definitely doable in 2 hours. There you have it, done quickly once more. Just a quick note. Carpenters and joiners should probably stop watching now or avoid commenting. My job is being a gardener and a weekend handyman. So some of the wood joints are put together a bit hastily, but that doesn't change the fact that this is a pergola that's still durable and sturdy and strong enough to support very heavy crops. But you see, we're not talking about high-level carpentry or joinery here. At the same time, the idea is that anyone, no matter who you are, can do this at home. If you're a carpenter, you don't need the video. You can do this better than me. Now, here are the materials I used and their prices. I'm not advertising or telling you where I bought them, but you can find them almost anywhere. So to make exactly this model, I used 8 ground anchors. Each ground anchor costs €8, so that's €64 for the ground anchors. 8 beams of 4 meters. So that was €60 for the 8 two beams of 3 meters, that's €10 more, and 2 half beams of 4 meters. There was €9, totaling €143. It could cost less if you skip the small passage in the middle of the 8 meters like I did. And then what? There's also the cost of the screws. So fairly long screws, since these are rafters. So I use them for the first assemblies. 120 mm screws for the beams that go through the rafter and will be fixed into the posts. 160 mm screws might be longer than needed. And 80 mm screws, all of these are 80 mm long 8mm to secure the braces. I left out the screw price, so check how much they cost. We'll review the tools I used at the end of the project. That way I'll go over all the tools I used to do everything. Okay, so exactly 2.5 hours to finish the pergola. It's complete. Now it's really finished. Later we could add vertical trellises for climbing plants. I'll explain all that to you later. First, a quick check of everything I need to build all this, because right now I haven't tidied up the workshop. So the tools I used. So I used a jigsaw, a screwdriver, a circular saw, and a planer. A tape measure, a level, a square, a sledgehammer for driving the post to drive in. Oh yes, and the little piece of wood, the little wooden cube, which is super important. Posts to drive in, making sure I don't damage them. That's all the materials and tools needed. Let's start the project. And we're going to start with the part that, at least for me, is the longest and the most annoying. But it's important to do it well if we want everything else to go smoothly afterward. So the first part was to lay the foundations. Basically, the foundations are all the supports that need to be set up. You'll mark it out on the ground by measuring exactly the size it's going to be with a tape measure. Or you can get a head start by cutting the wood pieces. Prepare the long, round and damp ones. Place beams along the length and across the 1.5 meter width on the ground to define it. That's exactly where to place your supports for planting, so there are no surprises if they're misplaced. That's how I do it. There you go, if you know how to measure and draw a right angle and position them without needing the wood. First, put your supports in place. In my case, for my pergola, it's going to be a rectangle that's 8 meters long with a support to plant in each corner. Since the long beams are 4-meter rafters, another support must be added exactly 4 meters in the center. And I also put 2 other supports to be planted about 1.2 meters from the ones in the middle to make the doorway. So I could have placed the door right in the middle, but I think it would have been less practical and less sturdy, because I really needed to have a post right in the middle and for it to be at the joint of the 2 4-meter long rafters. Here you go. I'm not sure if I'm being clear, but I preferred to put the door slightly to the side like this. So, a little tip by the way, if you can, build the pergola before putting the crops underneath. In my case, I did the opposite. I already had the crops in place. Where I needed to build the pergola, the crops got in the way a bit. So, build the pergola before the crops, it's better. You'll often see the dimensions I give for the pergola and all my other setups. The table, seedling table, soaking table, every setup I create. I often determine the size of my setup based on the size of the wood I buy. There you can buy 4-meter and 3-meter beams. So that's why the pergola is 8 meters long and that's why it's 1.5 meters wide. I can cut my 2 3-meter beams in half to get 4 1.5-meter cross pieces. We'll look at that later. First we set the foundations for the posts. So don't forget to take a wooden board, a section of wood, anything to put on the post you're planting so you can hit it with the sledgehammer without damaging the post. That would be a shame. Don't plant them straight. Start with a slight angle, then use a level on top. I tap one way, I tap the other way. To make sure you're really straight, what I mean is don't wait until it's completely planted. To check the level, you can always adjust it when you secure the post inside. Make it perfectly straight if the support you're planting isn't perfectly horizontal. It's best to start off right. Like I said, things go smoothly when done correctly from the beginning. Each time I plant another support, I'll check the level to keep everything perfectly horizontal. I'm on ground that's pretty much flat, so I make sure that all my supports are planted at the same level. If your ground slopes, plant them deeper on one side and shallower on the other. Make it horizontal now. This will keep all your posts the same height and straight, making things easier later. If you have sloped ground, we use a level here instead. You will plant the posts at each end and with a string you will make sure everything is aligned so that it follows the slope properly. And so you can have posts that are all the same size and have something that's pretty straight in the end. There you go. Just because we're weekend handymen doesn't mean we can't do it right. That we can't have something in the end that actually stands up and looks nice and straight. If you end up with something that's all crooked, even if it's sturdy, it won't appear that way and will look less professional. That's it for the foundation part. It took me an hour to do all this. From now on, it will go much faster. Well, even if there's still an hour and a half left to finish, from here on, visually, it's going to go faster. So once all the posts to be planted are in place, we're going to do the poles. The poles are 2 meters high. I need 8, so I'll cut 4 beams of 4 meters in half. Then we have the poles. The poles, the beams that I buy, are a bit thicker than the posts to be planted, so they don't fit in well. Just give them a quick pass with a planer to make them smaller, and they'll fit right in. You could buy posts made for this. They sell nice ready-made posts that fit perfectly. The support size matches what I see where I buy posts. These posts are 2.4 meters tall, so you'll need to cut them down, which will create some waste. And each post costs between 9 and 10 euros, something like that, whereas for me the cost price of a post is about 3 euros, 3.70 euros, I think, something like that. So yeah, the price is not the same at all. Now, of course, this wood isn't necessarily the nicest. It's kind of yellow wood, treated and all that. It's very durable because it's treated. It doesn't rot. The fact that it's not planted in the ground, but a bit above the ground thanks to the planting supports, it really doesn't rot. So the lifespan is huge. And if you don't like the look of the yellow treated side, you can either put a bit of walnut stain on it. It looks great immediately and it'll look even better once the plants grow, which is the main idea. You won't see the wood later, so don't worry. After placing the posts in the supports, we'll screw them in. There are holes in the supports to put in 4 screws. While doing that, we'll check that the posts are perfectly vertical as we screw them in. We'll use a spirit level to check both sides and ensure they're straight. And then once all the posts are fixed, we just have to screw the crossbars on top of them. So if the post support was spaced correctly, the crossbar fits perfectly. If it doesn't fit perfectly, gently pull on the post to straighten them. It should still end up straight. Once all the crossbars have been put in place, we install the stringers. Same, if supports are set right, stringers fit easily. On the middle post, we're going to put a stringer coming from each side, so they'll meet right in the middle of the post. Insert a screw at a slight angle so it fits securely into the post below each stringer and rafter, and then it holds well. There would be a way to make a small 45 deg cut on each rafter so that a screw holds the two together. Lazy in terms of sturdiness. Aesthetically, for sure, it would look nicer. In terms of sturdiness, I'm not sure it would make that much of a difference. As I said, I'm not a carpenter. I just want to be quick and efficient, so that's my approach. You can make a 45-degree cut on each rafter if you want. Just a quick reminder, the technique I'm showing today is one of many ways to do things. My goal was simply to show you this method. A quick, simple and effective technique using accessible tools and basic methods. If you'd like, I can show you more advanced tools in a future video. How can we create more elaborate pergolas like the one behind me by spending a bit more time on them? With 2 people, it took us about 3 half days to finish it, which isn't a lot either. And finally, to solidify everything a bit, I added braces, so I put in some that are a bit longer. On the side with the load-bearing meters, right behind me, these 2 braces are 80 long. Make a 45-degree cut on each side to form the angle in the wood. It may not be exactly 45 degrees, but it should fit snugly against the wood. And then, finally, for all the other braces, each one is 40 centimeters. So I didn't put one in every corner. You could put braces in every corner, but it's not required. Decide as you go. Shake the pergola to see if it holds. Try hanging from the cross beams or rafters and you'll find out. You should plant heavier crops such as kiwi or grapes. Chayote, for example, there's quite a bit of it. It just needs to be able to support enough weight. After all, these are rafters, so it's still pretty sturdy. And if there's a lot of length, well, use longer braces so there's less load to carry. And there you go. And that's for all the braces. Maybe 2 4-meter half rafters were enough for the 4 braces, leaving a little extra for the 4-meter section. And then for all the others, there's enough. So that's it for the base of the pergola. That's it, it's finished. You could attach bamboo, reed screens, a shade cloth, anything on top. For me, the way I use it, it's completely finished. You could add wire mesh on the sides for climbing plants, but I'll discuss that with you later. But anyway, the pergola is finished now. Now what I'm going to do is finish the planting because there's still some left to do. I haven't planted everything underneath yet. There are still some more plants coming. Mostly climbing plants and a few vines that will grow over the top, so it will take time to be fully covered. These crops will help me manage the shade behind. But I'll explain all of that in the next videos. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss more pergola stories. And once again, if you want to get a lot more information about crops and something more complete, well, go check out my book, The Forest Garden. In it, I explain all of this to you in detail. For this type of pergola, but also for many other types of pergolas and a whole bunch of types of crops. What can you do underneath it? I hope you enjoyed this. If so, give it a thumbs up and leave questions in the comments. And if you find the video interesting, you can share it as widely as you want. And all that will really help its ranking. Thanks to everyone who does it. If you want to support me, there's a link to Tipeee over there. Thanks to everyone who supports me. You're the reason I can do this. Thank you so much. And I'll see you again very soon for the next steps in setting things up and for growing things on and under the pergola. All right, see you all.